What's going on, everybody? Steve here. This time I'm in St. John, Indiana, northwest corner of the state at Gates Skate Park behind me. This park is relatively new. I think it was built around 2022 or so by Spawn Ranch. This park has a really nice layout, good mix of transition and street obstacles, really good flow to it. And they've been adding to the park as well. So I'm actually standing underneath a shade structure. There's a couple of them around the skate park, which is great because this park is in the middle of a field. So in the summertime, gets super hot, good place to cool off. They're also adding light poles in here as well. So there will be lighting in the very near future. I'm filming this in October of 2024. So more to come. And they recently added this year, this summer, a pump track. It's small, it's tucked in the back, but it's a nice concrete pump track, which really adds some variety to this park as well. So it kind of is a gem in Northwest Indiana. The only other really good park in this area is Valparaiso, but I'm hoping that more parks get built in this part of Indiana and there's more for people to skate. But this skate park is great. We'll check it out. I'll walk you through it all and you can decide for yourself if you want to come to St. John and skate it. So I'm going to start the tour by featuring the pump track first, which is the newest feature at the St. John's Park. The pump track is in the west end of the skate park. And a couple things to note about it. First and foremost, it's all concrete. And the different colored sections represent different, like I guess you could call it roughness in terms of how it's laid out. So both sections are brushed cement to give you traction. However, the middle section here is more of a drainage runout area, and this is heavily brushed cement. And really, if you were to roll out into it, especially on a skateboard or like roller skates or something, it would slow you down quite a bit. So you got to be careful of falling because you could get scraped up pretty bad. But the other section, the gray section, which is what you're meant to ride on, is smoother. However, if I get up really close to it, you can see the brush marks. So they did come through and brush this to give you some traction so you don't slip out, which is probably better for a pump track, I would say, because especially if you're carving around the corners with harder wheels, it can make it really difficult to hold your position and not like slide out or shoot out or anything like that. So let me walk you through this. The entrance here, I'm on the south side of it. We've got a couple of rollers to get through. At first, about 4 of them in a row. Each one is about 1.5 feet tall. And then I get a turnaround section or bank. And this is where I get like a little bit of a wall carve, 2 in a row before I get back to more rollers. And there are 3 of these in a row, which come one after another, obviously. And then you get into another turnaround section as well to get through it. So pump track is kind of on the smaller side, but you get the idea that it's got some nice flow and variety, and also helps with kind of spacing the park out and helping it not feel super crowded. So that's a nice feature as well. Great addition. Now, as I said in the overview, it's got a very good mix of street and transition. So I'm going to start on the streets or the transition side in a second. I'm going to work my way back towards a bowl, kind of going back and forth between transition and street. So the transition part that I'm going to focus on first is what you see right in front of me. It's this like kind of flow bowl area, for lack of a better term. The bowl itself gets to its highest point to be about 6 feet tall, which is this section here. It's a little bit of a taco shell extension. But to the left and right of it are 5-foot sections. And if you notice the dark gray parts in the center, these are actually 1-foot roll-ins. So the quarter pipes themselves transition from about like 4 or 5 feet down to more like 3 feet. And then the middle like spine section, on one side it's taller, about 4 feet and then 3 feet. On the other side, it's only about 2 feet at its most mellow point. So it's got a really nice mix, and I'll get down there and show you what that's like in a second. But the decking part is what I want to point out first. You do have some bank ramp style as well to just get around, and it really helps section out the park. All right, so now I'm at the flat bottom part of the transition. You can see about a 6 foot wide roll-in front of me that's only about 3.5, 4 feet tall. and then a longer bank ramp to turn around on. It does have coping at the top. This thing is about 5 feet tall and close to, I would say, about 12 feet wide. So plenty of room to turn around, multiple people using it at a time. Now, as I move towards the south, or to the left of that bank, I've got a nice long 4-foot corridor. And like I said, there are these like 1-foot roll-ins to get into a deeper part of the park. So you go from a relatively easy transition, the radiuses are all great for skating, to something that's a little bit taller. So I'm gonna roll down in there and show you. I said 6 foot, it's probably more like 5 feet, so apologize for that, but we do have like a little bit of a clamshell type of extension. This thing end to end is probably about 16 feet long and is really like a corner pocket of sorts. And then you've got some taller transition, more like 4 feet. Maybe this side is a little bit taller than this side on the left, but we then get out of it with another like bank roll-in area to shorter quarter pipes. So you can skate this section a bit like a mini ramp, which is nice, and it's easy to get in and out of to connect lines. So it's really well designed. Now, on the left side, we've got a hip area slash volcano section, if you will. This triangle here in the middle is a little weird. I guess you can roll over it if you want, or kind of air out into a quarter pipe if you're feeling really buck, but all in all, it's more or less a sculpture, but I'm sure people have hit it. However, this 360 hip is great. This thing is about 3.5, 4 feet tall or so, goes all the way around, and is a great way to just kind of connect lines and get turned around if you want. So you can roll in on it, super mellow quarter, and all in all, really good layout. But on the other side, the bank ramp is taller, and where you see the street section I'll get to in a minute, is about 2 feet higher than where I'm standing right now. So I go up this 6-foot ramp and get into a much shorter quarter pipe area. So kind of like something to mess around on, a little bit like of a 2-foot quarter or so, that transitions back into those 4-foot sections. So all in all, good transition part of the park. Next, I've got a bump to bar and down rail connected, circular. The bump to bar is pretty mellow. It's only about 14 inches tall. The down rail a little bit taller, maybe 18 inches in the middle. On the down rail side, it's about 10 feet long. The bump to bar is more like 8. Easy to, like I said, easy to get onto. And obviously you've got plenty of space on both sides, so you can skate it front side or back side, however you want. Then you've got one of those like parking lot ball stanchion things. You see them in Target painted red all the time. But that is a sick ollie, by the way, but also kind of set down into the ground a little bit lower. Another park that has something like this is Nashville, Indiana. And that ball that they have there is fully on top of the cement. So this one's actually pretty low in comparison. So it's easier to get over, but you do have that as an option to skate. So now you've got this really like A-frame hubba that goes end to end. The middle section I'm standing on is like 16 feet long or so, and the down slopes are about 10 feet long. It's a little bit tall, maybe 16 inches or so to get onto, but it's a nice long mellow slide and plenty of landing room on either end to get out on. So not bad to get onto, not bad to grind or slide. All in all, a really great obstacle. Then to kind of round off that section, we've got a 3-foot quarter, really just a mechanism to go back and forth with. But good for stalls as well, and I'm sure there's people who've done flyouts into the grass. But this quarter is, I would say, about 12 feet wide, and like I said, 3 feet tall or so. So good all-around quarter. So there are a couple more street obstacles to cover. Over to the left here is a nice long bench that's about 16 inches off the ground and close to 18 feet long. The flat bar here is about the same length, again about 14 inches off the ground, so pretty easy to skate. Round bar, skatable from both sides. And then you've got this like 3-stair kind of stadium style seating slash ledges. Each one has coping on it, They're about a foot tall each. And I suppose you could carve around and skate it like a big 3 gap, like Machba style. But for the most part, it's just the bottom ledge getting skated. And then it transitions into a 3-foot quarter, but in the back there. So a nice kind of lower impact street section. Bench is a little bit on the tall side, but all in all, good to skate. Last but not least is the kidney bowl. This thing ranges from about 5 feet deep to 8 feet deep. So on the deeper end is the 8-foot section, shallower end is 5 feet. The coping is all metal, so no pool coping here. Pretty well set, got a little bit of space off the top of it and sticking out as well to kind of, if you pop your airs off the coping, you've got that, and then good to stall or grind. So nice setup as well, hip section. So I would think that, and I'm not a transition skater, but I would think that most people would find this pool pretty maybe predictable, but also consistent in the way it rides, and a lot of fun if you get good at transition. All right, so that does it for the Gates Skate Park in St. John, Indiana. I hope you found this skate park tour informative. If you have any questions about the park, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I will see you in the next skate park tour video. Thanks for watching.